Hey everyone, Shani here. So I have just moved into an old RV with my cat Knox. She's 5 years old. Oh, that was perfect timing, Knoxy. And it's kind of been a little bit of a slow process. I wanted to make her comfortable in here. So I thought I'd just walk through a few things that I did and show some pictures of kind of introducing her to the RV to help her be comfortable, and then at the end of this I'll throw in a quick little tour of like the cat areas in my motorhome. So when I first got this, I did a little bit of work on it before I actually introduced it to her. I didn't want her to be in here obviously when it was a construction zone, but I'll just insert a couple photos now of the first time that I introduced her to the RV. This is Knox's very first time in the trailer. I've just given her a little bit of tuna. She just stuck her head in her little hole, but didn't actually go in it yet. But I'm just gonna let her wander around for a little. What do you think? She was very curious right off the bat. Wasn't scared about being in here, just wanted to go and explore and see what it is. Mostly just to look out the windows. So that went really well. After I did that, just a short introduction, I gradually let her in a couple more times at slightly longer amounts of time. So I sat in here just on my laptop for a while, for a couple hours, and just let her wander around with me. And then we actually did a night in here together as well. So I just threw the old mattress before I brought mine in here. Up here, I brought her in just before I went to bed, made sure she had litter, food, water, all the comforts. And we spent the night in here, and then as soon as it was morning, 6 a.m., we went back in the house just to let her experience that night. I did not sleep much that night. She was so curious and interested by all of like the night sounds and stuff, but it was a good introduction to get her comfortable with it. Then the biggest thing that I was worried, well, one of the biggest things I was worried about with her was the drives. She's never really enjoyed drives, but the only ones we've really done are taking her either to the vet or the groomers, which ends in a result that she doesn't like, being at the vet or the groomers. So I kind of wish I'd taken her on more test drives before we actually left, but I've got a little clip here of the first test drive that we did. My mom was sitting in the back with her because we did just have her loose. When I actually left on my trip, I had her in her carry bag, and since then I keep her in her carry bag as well. I don't close it, but she sits in there, which is better. But the first drive we did, my mom was sitting in the back with Knox, and the poor little thing, she cried the whole ride. It was like just like a 5 or 6 minute drive around the block. So yeah, I'll just insert a little bit of that clip from that first drive now. So those are some of the things that I did beforehand to help her get used to this space before we actually permanently moved into it. And now I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of some of the areas in my RV which I made like specifically for her and how I made it cat friendly. A couple other small things that I've done. I'm not actually feeding or giving her water from my freshwater holding tank, just because the water comes from somewhere different every time, and I don't know how well it's filtered. So I am buying filtered water from the grocery store for her, just as kind of a safety thing. The other thing is that she has a special vet food, urinary, metabolic, and stress. So I had to pre-order some of that from the vets first, and I have a little cubby back here hidden under the blanket. Actually, you can't see, designed that way so you can't see it, but I've got her spare bags of food tucked in there because I don't have to get to them on a daily basis. I have a container which I keep up here with her current food, and then her bags of extra food from the vet are there because obviously when I'm driving around Canada, I can't just go once a month to go pick up the food from my vet. So yeah, I pre-ordered some of that. But without further ado, I will give you a little tour of some of the areas in my RV for her. So we'll start off here in the cab. I'm using this as a bunch of storage. But when I'm driving, Knox doesn't like driving. What I've found best so far is to have her sit in her carry case, which I buckle up, I secure to the front seat, and she sits in it without it closed and doesn't leave it. She can watch outside, still cries, and we've got to work on that, but so far that's the best option. Then in here, right by the front entrance, this is where the previous owner had the fridge, and it kind of worked its way up here. We took that out, put a counter all the way to top, and then this is where I keep her litter. So it's got a little cat door on the side. So she's got her litter in there. It's a very big box, but there wasn't really much room to go too much smaller, or she doesn't have the head space. So I wanted to give her lots of space. Then I've got this little basket here, just screwed to the side, and it carries like her harness, some feel away, a couple toys in there, just things that won't really fall out of it. And then this just goes against a block and latches in. Then we've got another little cubby, and this is where you can find Knox now, actually. Hey, Knoxy. Hello. I don't know if you can actually see her in there, but this is what I built her for, like, a safety thing. Like, if she wants to hide and feel secure, this is about the middle of it, so it goes from here to about there. Like, I want to say 16 inches deep or something, just a tight little thing. I put her blanket from home and one of my sweaters, which she absolutely loves lying on my sweaters. So I brought one of those, which has her and my scent on it already, just as a little place for her to feel safe and comfortable in whatever situation. Hey! Okay, I'll stop bothering you now. Oh, and now she's come out. And then this one, I've got a couple different cubbies, but this is the cubby where I keep her stuff. So I've got a spare bag of litter back there. This is where her litter bucket and scoop is, and I'm emptying that more frequently than I would at home, just because you have to tilt it quite a bit to actually get it out, and I don't want it to start stinking in here. And then this is just some standard things, some of her medication if she needs it, some treats, flea and tick, preventative medication, brushes, that kind of thing, and a couple extra toys as well. Just tucked out of the way, but very easy access. So then up on the counter by the sink is where I've been putting her food and water dishes. She didn't finish her supper. But the idea with that is that I want to just be able to put her food in here when I'm driving. So that, like, if the food or the water splashes out, which the water obviously does while I'm driving, it'll just go in the sink. But because I'm using not the water in my tank, but store-bought water, filtered water for her to drink, I'd rather it doesn't all go down the drain. I've gotten her a smaller bowl, which I just top up regularly, and then I try to prevent it from spilling. But basically I've allowed this so that she can walk all the way along. She likes walking along the back of these seats. And then up here, over the oven, when it's closed, it's safe for her to walk on. And then this is her access point to jump. So she jumps from here onto the bed. And the bed is another one of her safe spots right now. She loves curling behind. I just prop my pillows up and she loves curling in that little area right behind there. So many windows, airflow. We're nice and high for her to see things. So this is probably her current favorite spot in the trailer. Those are just a couple things that I've done to make it cat friendly. I guess one thing I didn't also note, I put a non-slip mat under this carpet runner. So that when I play one of her favorite toys, it's just a shoelace. And you just like whip it back and forth so that when I play with her, she doesn't tear the runner up with her. But yeah, I thought I'd just share a few of the little things that I've done to try to make it a comfortable space for her, and where to put her essentials, obviously, like a litter box and her food. This is obviously, I'm very early on into my trip, so some of this stuff may change. This is how it is right now, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please subscribe. There's lots more RV content coming on my channel, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon.